Hello, everyone. Going through the madness of Halloween without a costume. But I have a topic. I have two topics: Stranger Things. And what else? What else did I have to talk about? Stranger Things and Game of Thrones. HBO Max. HBO. You had Game of Thrones. Along with Dawson's Creek, Alias, Lost, The X-Files, 24, Lost, as I said. There are great shows. There are shows that are IP. I have to keep my eyes open. I'm sorry, my eyes are going to be really. My eyes are like this. I want them to be like that. But let me get up. This is worth getting up. I want my eyes to be open. Game of Thrones is one of the greatest books that I've never read. It's one of the greatest HBO shows ever made. And the ending, they didn't stick the ending, but they did. They ended it. They ended it right before COVID. It's only as far as I could take it. And it was probably one of the best characters, one of the best worlds. And I miss Game of Thrones, and I watch House of the Dragon, which I enjoy. And I know where the brutal ending is coming of Rhaena Targaryen, Daenerys, and all of that, as Joffrey said, and maybe they'll find a way to uproot the ending. But House of the Dragon is awesome. Maybe there's other shows in the hot Game of Thrones world. Westworld is Westworld was amazing. I think the first two seasons of Westworld, then I didn't see season 3, 4, 5, all the other ones. But Westworld is amazing. Westworld, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, High Potential, Peacemaker's good. But yeah, just looking at the shows now that we have, what are shows that make us excited? And we think Stranger Things, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is coming. Let's see if that excites us. High Potential is pretty good, even though it can't really sustain that fire unless it has a fire behind it. Because once at some point you're just watching, the girl comes in, there's a murder, she solves the murder, and they stopped caring about. I look at High Potential, and I think first season is perfect. Second season is kind of going down. I like Only Murders in the Building. I enjoy the work they do to start with a death and work backwards to make it all a mystery. It's work. It's work to entertain me, and it works. So here's a show that I skipped out on, and I have all of this month and next month, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna not watch. I'm not gonna watch Stranger Things. And Wednesday, I forgot about Wednesday. Wednesday was good. I didn't see Narcos. I want to see Narcos. I want to see 24. I want to see. Television is incredible when you really go into it. I didn't see Squid Game. I want to watch Squid Game. And this is about Stranger Things. So sorry, 4 minutes, and here we are, Stranger Things. From the first episode of I've only seen, I think, 4 or 5 episodes of Stranger Things, and Friends, I do like Friends, even though it's harder now to watch it with Matthew Perry dead. I saw the first episode of Friends, and that's as far as I got, and I really liked it. Stranger Things. I remember walking into CVS and someone going, "Oh man, Stranger Things season 4 is coming out. Who do you think is gonna die?" And they said, "Oh, it might be the David Harbour character, the Winona Ryder, one of the girls." And then it was, yeah, obviously the Fantastic Four guy, the Johnny Storm. So ultimately, I don't know how to explain Stranger Things to people who haven't seen it. It's a show about a group of kids in the 80s who live in a town it's much like the show It, which I want to see. Welcome to Derry. I haven't started that. I might watch that as soon as binge it when it's all done. But Stranger Things is a show about a girl played by Millie Bobby Brown, who plays a girl who is an experiment called 11. She's like this shaved head girl who's almost 10, 12 years old, 11 years old. And she meets these other kids who are geeks who like Dungeons and Dragons. And it's basically like E.T., but instead of them finding an extraterrestrial alien, they find a young girl who's an experiment. So it's like Akira. It's like kind of like that movie Akira, that show Akira. And she has the ability to like use powers, and you find out that there's a whole world called the Upside Down World where Vecna and specific creatures, I don't know if they're aliens, I don't know if they are aliens, I don't know if they're nightmare creatures, I don't know, but Vecna is basically in the Upside Down World, and the Upside Down World and our world finally merge in season 5, and that's it. And it's about, MK Ultra experiments, Monarch, all this shit. And the Duffer Brothers were pitched this show at a film festival, specific ideas of it, and they stole it. They stole the premise of this person's pitch to the point where the person sued, and in an unheard of reality that we can't even imagine, the Duffer Brothers had to pay millions of dollars to this person for suing their show, for stealing their show, because he could prove, I met you at a festival, I gave you my DVD and my script, and you stole it. And they went to court and they kept it all secret. They say that he dropped the case. They didn't drop any case. They just did all that. They did everything where they can to shut up because they didn't want to be humiliated knowing, hey, this George R.R. Martin wrote Game of Thrones, but I'm this random creator of a show, and George R.R. Martin sued me, and I made Game of Thrones, and George R.R. Martin is the creator of Game of Thrones, and he got all this money for Game of Thrones, and I made my version of Game of Thrones, and it was nothing like the version you know, and I stole his Westeros, and, basically that. So they stole Stranger Things. And good thing that they stole it, because, they would, you run with an idea, you come up with a Spider-Man, a Ghost Rider, a Spawn, a Superman, you come up with your own version, you come up with the boys, Gen V, you get your own show. You're Queen Latifah. You have your friends. Along comes the creators of Friends. They have their own version. So while it would be nice, ultimately you realize, hey, bro, court shines upon the people who are genius and can sue you. And they sued. And Sophia Stewart sued The Matrix and Terminator and won. The Duffer Brothers were sued and they won. And I don't care what anybody tells me. I'm not here to suck your balls or be bullshit. The guy will not talk about the court case. If he lost the court case, he'd be bitching every day, going, "Oh, I lost the court case. Oh, I'm trying to win it. I'm trying to win it. I'm trying to." He'd signed a non-disclosure agreement where they said, "Look, we're going to give you the money. You get to have the money, the millions of dollars, but you have to shut the fuck up, and you can't tell anybody that you created Stranger Things and we stole it from you, and you can't talk about this show ever, but here are your millions of dollars." And they did that. Why am I talking about it? Because it shows that that's pretty pathetic. That's a pretty pathetic move on a creator's part to go, A perfect example is this. I like the idea of Kitty Cat Daniels and the Nuclear Cannibals. But if I was to make Willie Cat Daniels and the Nuclear Cannibals, I would never try to silence Eric Ekman and say, hey, Eric Ekman, I know you came up with this kind of grindhouse Kitty Cat Daniels idea and you sued me and I have a Willie Cat Daniels. I would just go, just make Kitty Cat Daniels. There it is. It's right there in the trailer. Pay the guy and just tell him, dude, I know it's your idea and you're a genius and you're the George R. R. Martin, but I really love this story. I'm a creator too, and I feel this is what should happen with Kitty Cat Daniels. But I need you and you need me, and let's work together. Let me be the Jerry Bruckheimer to your Tony Scott, and let's do this Top Gun. But I would never try to be like, oh well, Top Gun, which they stole. Some guy wrote pieces of the action sequences for Top Gun 2, and they stole the story from. They used the story from an article. You know, it's so stupid when a person thinks, "Oh, you came up with the originality of it, but I'm better than what you came up with." Are we really that stupid to say, "Oh, I'm James Cameron, and yes, you have Braveheart and Fern Gully, but my avatar will always live and keep on living based on what I come up with it"? That's stupid. If you came up with it, you have the power to say that. If I come up with Harry Potter and I go, yes, I have a Hermione Granger. You did not introduce the character Hermione Granger. There was a girl, there was a boy, there was a Voldemort, and I had all that stuff. If I came up with that, I'm the powerful one. You're just the person going, yeah, but I liked Harry Potter, so I brought in like Vecna or this or that or Upside, and you're like, yeah, that stuff was cool, and I established that, but you're not Harry Potter. We're working on this. That'd be a good show to establish like who owns the idea. Does Robert Downey Jr. have his place with Iron Man? Does Jon Favreau? Does Stan Lee? So the point of this was to say these assholes stole Stranger Things. They stole Stranger Things. And now they're trying to run away like little bitches. They're just like Game of Thrones. They're trying to run away and go, we're going to do better stuff, man. You don't have anything else. You have nothing else. You're not J.J. Abrams. You're not Damon Lindelof. You're not some creator that can go, well, dude, I'll show you. I'll come up with a Wednesday Addams that you never heard about. There's a thing I have called Wednesday Addams in the Addams family. I have a Beetlejuice. You're not creative. The whole point is that you needed the idea so that you could start. You were inspired, like, wow, this is so cool. Stephen King, The Dark Tower. Stephen King, Stephen. But it's not yours. You had to pay those millions. And it's sad that there's so many creative people who lose out on these creative lawsuits that they go to court and they never win and they say, oh, I'm sorry, you can't prove it. And this guy won it. He should be throwing it in everybody's face like, I'm the king. The show came out. Before the show ended, I was, given millions of dollars. I came up with it. I sued. I won. I didn't drop my case. We dropped his case. Well, then have him talk to me. I'll give him my email. I'll give him my phone number. I'll do an interview with him right now, and we'll talk about it. We'll get him on a live chat, and he can tell me how he lost his court case. Not going to happen. You know why? Not because he lost it, and it's nobody's business. It's because he got $1 billion, and he got to keep his money. And one of the prerequisites of one of the stipulations is if you talk about it, we can take away money, and you're screwed. But he needs to talk about it. He should be getting just as much accolades. Michael Mann made Heat. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, some other guy made Heat. Let me focus on that other guy who made Heat and never talk to Michael Mann. Let me never talk to the guy who brought De Niro and Pacino in a scene. And a lot of that was stolen from real life stories of a guy and his stories, and it's just funny how Rocky was stolen. You know, everybody's inspired by stories, but why do we look at the person who just accomplished it, but we never go, but it wasn't your story? And Stranger Things is not their story. And you can tell, as I see, a lot of what they want to do is create a superhero of 11. They want to steal from anime. They want to a lot of what Christopher Nolan, who I accused of, you know, I don't believe for a second, and I hope for a second it's not true, but I accused anyway because I don't give a damn. That's just what I did. But it, Inception was stolen from certain ideas, and it took a while to make the movie. But the point of Stranger Things is I have to watch the entire series, and when I look at it, I'm looking at it as a 39-year-old man going, Millie Bobby Brown is sexy. For whatever reason, she started as a little girl, and all of a sudden, people were like, oh, you look 40 now. She looks my age. She looks like she's my age. And I go, she doesn't look like she's my age. But you go, wow, that's amazing that one girl went from, I'm going to do this little show, and it's going to be the biggest show ever in Netflix history, along with Wednesday, same as Jenna Ortega, and we grew up and were super beautiful. So what that is showing you is that the world needs a new Johnny Depp. The world needs a new Brad Pitt. The world needs a new George Clooney. We had a Glenn Powell. We have a Sydney Sweeney in Euphoria. We have a Zendaya. We have a Tom Holland. The world needs new, young, sexy, fresh movie stars. And the old movie stars still look good. The old movie stars are still kicking ass. And for whatever reason, you could never make a movie where Tom Cruise isn't the father of 11. He's the husband of 11. Now imagine Millie Bobby Brown watching Mission Impossible 1996 and going, look at that guy. I want that guy. I want that guy. I, Millie Bobby Brown, want Tom Cruise at that age guy. Where is he? With AI, I can do it. With another actor, I can do it. And then all of a sudden, you get Tom Cruise going, well, you know what's interesting? No one is ever going to know about our privacy. So here I am. I'm 60. You're looking 40, but you're really like, what, 20, 19, 21, 22, 19, 18, right? If you want, I will Miller's girl you. I will be the older guy, the older DiCaprio. And if you want to sleep with me, I will sleep with you. I will treat you like an Ana de Armas. I will. So you think, oh, that's so gross. Look at this older, middle-aged. And you're like, no, you don't understand something. He is still Mission Impossible 1996. He just doesn't look it. It's going to require, like my hair, gray hairs. It requires a reality of like, well, yes, I'm a man, and I'm older, and I'm mature, and I'm about to be Clint Eastwood. But I go, but look at me. I'm able to go to that younger generation and go, man, Millie Bobby Brown looks sexy. Yes, I want to be with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yes, I acknowledge Jenna Ortega's sexy. And you start to look at that where there was a reality a couple of months ago, where people were talking about, oh, is Jenna Ortega dating Johnny Depp? And you're like, and I was like, well, if she saw him in Nightmare on Elm Street, she says, yes, I think he's hot. I like him. And now she sees him in real life and goes, well, I love Jack Sparrow. And you go, it's not a baby. She's not a baby. She's not an infant. She's a woman. And the whole point of the song in Tarantino and Lolita and Kubrick was, girl, you'll be a woman soon. And the second you enter into that woman adulthood, you're like, well, I'm still young, and it's never going to work in the sense that I'm young and you're old. So why are you trying to hold on to me like I'm your future or hold like you kind of just have to be like, I'm just going to slip in there and get some of that youth and be with someone young, but I'm still old and I will acknowledge that I do want a 30-year-old. I do want a 20-year-old. I do want an 18-year-old. I do want a 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. But nobody ever wants a 70, an 80 or a 90-year-old unless they're super sexy. So a perfect example is like me, like Dolly Parton and Madonna. If right now you say, do you want Dolly Parton and Madonna and Pamela Anderson, or do you want Jenna Ortega, Sydney Sweeney, and Millie Bobby Brown? Now, the first thing your mind goes is, yes, go for Millie Bobby Brown, go for Jenna Ortega, go for Sydney Sweeney. Three of the most youngest, they're strawberries that are luscious and beautiful. But you go, do you want Dolly Parton, Madonna, and Pamela Anderson? I go, well, I like Pamela Anderson, but there's all this history there. Dolly Parton, she's always been sexy, whatever. And Madonna, yeah, great. But when you really look at it, you're going, these are the old women, the Sharon Stone, and there's Sharon Stone and Sydney Sweeney. I feel the only answer you can truly give, and this is a Stranger Things thing in youth, you have to kind of just go, well, look, the only truth I'm going to give you, Sharon Stone, is that yes, you're still sexy. You're still sexy. You still got it. At your age, you should be of an age now where I go, ugh, you're like a grandma. And I go, no, you're still Sharon Stone. You're sexy. I'll have sex with you. I'll look at Madonna and go, yeah, there are times you have to do a little too much work to be young, but you're beautiful. I'd fuck you. Dolly Parton. Damn, you're kind of withering away, not of old age, but of you need more sex. Something has to come in and sex you up so you can be like, wow, I feel rejuvenated. Sex came into me, and this kind of vampire-esque blood ritual of something got me younger. And I think that's the biggest problem these women have, is that they gave up their sex appeal. It wasn't that they gave up their looks. They gave up their, look at that cute boy on the show Riverdale. I want to have sex with him. And I remember there's a great thing that I'm going to talk about. David Boreanaz is still a handsome, good-looking guy. So you look at David Boreanaz, Millie Bobby Brown and him, they're sleeping together. Jenna Ortega and him, they're sleeping together. David Boreanaz. But there was there are two women that I say, unfortunately, you aged out. And that's sad. And that was the woman, I forgot her name. She's the woman, well, I'm not gonna, that's better that I don't know her name, but there's an old woman that is getting roles now. She was in Nebraska. She starts with a J. She got a little too old. You can't sleep with her. And then there was I think it was Betty Davis. The one that was 100 that did Ryan Reynolds. She wanted to fuck Ryan Reynolds. She couldn't. She got too old. And some women just never, like a perfect example, some women are like Madonna. Some women are like Lady Gaga. Some women are like Jenna Ortega or Winona Ryder, where you go, damn, when you were 15 you look sexy. Now you're 40. Now you're 50. Now you're 60. And they're Dolly Parton good looking. They're Mariah Carey good. And these women are like, oh, I still get to look beautiful. I still get to be Julia Roberts. I get to be with a Richard Gere. And I get to be with a Glenn Powell. I'm not old. I'm not old. That'd be a great movie title. I'm not old. And that'd be great if they finally make a movie called You Are Old. And those are the two women that I say are old. There's three women that are old that I always look at and go, there was the woman that was old in Game of Thrones, the one that took the poison from from that killed Joffrey. She was old. There was the Nebraska woman. She's old. And then there was Betty Davis, 100, old. It wasn't that they were ugly old. It was just they got old. You could see it. You could just see something about them. They got old. They didn't get, like, even Peter O'Toole got old. Uh, Glenn Close, when you look at her, you go, oh, she's old, she's old. And I go, no, it's not that she's old. It's that something in them is becoming shrewd. Something in them is becoming, like, be more childish. Does that make sense? Like Glenn Close is now on the Kardashians with Kris Jenner. And I'm always like, Kris Jenner's always stayed young, and yes, I understand. It's a looks thing. They go, oh, I try to look younger, I try to look younger, I do everything to stay young. Some women I have seen, like Paris Hilton's mom or Nadia Bajorlin, some women get to an age, Tina Barrett, where you're like, you still have that gorgeousness. It's like an unaging, like a Jared Leto, and a lot of it was because they didn't close themselves off sexually. They did find love, like Connie Britton or Nicole Kidman, and sometimes, like, it's sometimes you see the little bit too much wrinkle, or a little too much skinny, or a little too weakness, or a little too much down, but you always go, when I look back at you as 30, you're beautiful. And I see you now, and it's like, damn, you still look good. You still look so good that some 18-year-old guy is going to walk in and you're going to have sex with him, and he's going to go, yeah, I want that woman. I want that woman to be my wife. And that's the thing. Like Johnny Depp, people say he's old. Dude, Jenna Ortega's looking at Johnny Depp going, if I could de-age you, and it's the thing to do, where you're like, oh, we de-aged Johnny Depp with an AI filter machine, and it's just digital wrinkles, and you go, I love it. I love it. You go, I love it. If I could take some kind of I think youth is going to be nanites. I think if there was a movie that talked about like the engineer in James Gunn's Nanites, and the nanites that made the Iron Man costume, I think in the future people are going to go, well, here's the thing. You can't really de-age somebody. Only God and specific herbs and minerals and certain things in the trees and the ground can de-age someone. But if you're going to just look completely old and frail and weak, you're going to have to get the engineer. You're going to have to use nanites. And it's going to have to be like these venomy symbiote thingies are going to have to, something that's far beyond medical. It's a genius. It's a godly genius, an Oppenheimer godly genius of nanites. They're going to go, oh, here, I just used the nanites and I look like I'm 21. That's it. So for me, I think Madison Shipman from Game Shakers is sexy. I thought she looked good the moment I saw her on Game Shakers. When the first episode of Game Shakers aired, I looked at her and Cricachino and I said, I know it sounds pedophile, but it was weird. I think I was in my 30s or 20s. I don't remember. But I looked at them and I said, both those girls are cute. They're beautiful. They're going to grow up. Good for them. They're sexy. Great looking girls. Too young in Game Shakers. A little too young. A little too disgusting. They grew up and they got fine. So sometimes it's hard to explain this, but sometimes you're Millie Bobby Brown, and let's be honest, Stranger Things, the point of this was to say Stranger Things Millie Bobby Brown was a child, basically. She's old now. From the moment of what she looks like right now to when she reaches Winona Ryder's age, that's a lot of sex. That's almost 8,000 plus hours of sex. That's a lot of sex. That's a lot of, I love this one man, he's my husband. I love this random guys. I love my co stars. That's a lot of sex. And I feel that it's not about being lustful or demonic or evil. What it's about is going, well, when I was a kid, everybody wanted me. Now I'm Catherine Zeta Jones. Men still want me. And then you reach a Michael Douglas. You reach an age where you're like, I'm Michael Keaton. Damn, I'm looking old. I'm Mel Gibson. Man, my hairline. And I just have to establish that it's all about sex. The answer to the word is sex. How you have sex, how much sex you're having, why you're having sex, how it's done, how young you appear in the sex, how, like, a guy that never looked good ever was the Jewish guy, the fat little Danny DeVito Jewishy guy, Ron Jeremy. He never looked good. He never looked good in any of his time. But he got laid. And bringing himself into that sex, it was always like, well, can you go to the gym? Can you go to the Hugh Jackman school of Wolverine and look good? Because that's another thing. You got Hugh Jackman. You got Millie Bobby Brown. Yeah, even as I look at it like this, the girl who plays Daphne Keene, the Logan's daughter, she was like this. She's already, her breasts are like this big already. She's sexy as hell. So you're always like, it's creepy when a man's like, well, I played your dad. Like I'm John Stamos and I'm playing Michelle's uncle and I'm playing Candace Cameron's. But sometimes you have to go, you're not Danny Tanner. You're not Joey. You're John Stamos. So you're going to have Rebecca. You're going to have the girls. You're gonna, like, they're always going to say, he's the hot uncle. Either it'll be that, do we cross that line and have sex? Or, no, it was always fun to just flirt and crush. But it's good when you don't force it. Don't force it. Don't be creepy and, moldy, weirdy here like me. Just don't force it. Let the sex will unleash itself and it'll work. So like with Sharon Stone, I go, don't try to think too much about the ugliness or the oldness. Okay, I just farted. I just farted. So yeah, I know. Don't think about the fart that I just gave. But that was a fart of a crazy talk. So anyway, Stranger Things. Stranger Things is a good show, and it's not going to end because Millie Bobby Brown is too beautiful, and Sadie Sink is too beautiful, and I do believe there is some girls that are ugly enough to be on shows that are fat and ugly, and they're not fat the way that some model that was in Sports Illustrated is really big and fat and sexy. They're just ugly fat, like they're hunched. They look like Chewbacca. There's some girls that are like, no, you look terrible, fat, ugly, or you look too tall. Like a perfect example is like Gwendolyn Christie. She always was like, people were like, she's ugly, she's ugly. She's one of the sexiest, tallest women ever. Any man would fuck her. No man would deny that, oh, because you're so tall. Or her smile, her beauty. She's fucking hot. She's fucking sexy. I would go so far as to say the ugliest person on Wednesday, there are two of them. There are two people that are men that I'd go, ugly as fuck? No. But there's a handsomeness and, well, ugly as fuck. Everybody else, the guy who's gay on the show, that looks good. There's two people on the show, you're like, ugly and ugly. And everybody else, it's like, Jenna's hot, Enid's hot. The background girls are sexy. Morticia's sexy. Thing has a better chance of getting pussy. The one who played Thing, his mom, the it's just, you know, the two ugly ones. You know them. And there was a girl who's young Morticia, you'd fuck her. So it's not about that I'm crazy saying I'll fuck or not fuck. It's about when you go, damn, I have eyes. I made a shaming comment. But you know when you're like, if you put a person and two people in a room and they immediately respond sexually to the stimuli and they go, no, I don't want to do it. If they're not doing it, it's because they go, I'm not that into you. You're ugly. You're weird. And like for me, I would know with what I look like now, this is a non-stimuli. This is a, well, what you're saying sounds sexy. Like how your mind is thinking sounds weird, creepy, and weird, but there's a sexiness. But like you're not Heath Ledger. You're not making me smile. You're not wooing me. You're not like you're annoying me. You're like kind of creeping me out. And the reason that is because it's a, well, I kind of dwelled into the reality of it, not the emotion of it. So don't worry, people. The two ugly guys, they have more emotion. But I just know Millie Bobby Brown is going to get to Winona Ryder's age. She's going to get to Catherine Zeta's age. She's going to end. She's still going to be like, oh yeah, I remember when I was the age I was, and I could have been with Johnny Depp. I got with him. It's like I remember when The Weeknd and I hooked up. I remember all of that is possible now because that's life. So the point of Stranger Things is to say the show isn't only ending because the geniuses who came up with it stole it, and they're trying to make some bullshit where it's about, oh, it's got to be in the 80s. Well, fuck the 80s. I'm tired of the 80s. It's got to be in the 90s. Well, fuck the 90s. I'm tired of the 90s. It's got to be in like 2010. It's like trying to do the X Files, and you're like, you do know the X Files is old. It's old. That was 1998. That was 1995. That was. We are in 2025. Nobody is talking about the X Files. Nobody's saying. Everybody was talking about Mulder's hot, Scully's hot. I want to fuck Scully. Mulder should fuck Scully. The story was good. Aliens, I want to believe. But now you're like, well, none of that shit's real. Like, there are no aliens. You're telling me there was aliens in the X-Files movie, and here we are trying to create a world that's like, well, there's Donald Trump, and he's real. So your Gorbleguff, your bullshit monster of fakeness, your Danger Room, Total Recall world died because people are like, you know, the Spice Girls are the Spice Girls. They're on tour. Every single one of them is sexy. There's probably one that's probably the ugliest one based on being skinny, but they're all fucking hot. Mel B is hot. I would much more go to a Sphere Spice Girls concert than I would look up in the sky and see a UFO. But that's the love of great movies, is you go, man, did you see Independence Day? That was it, man. We were there. Did you see Minority Report? Tom was there, man. He made me believe that the precogs were once a real thing. I looked at Independence Day. I believe the president, Bill Pullman, kicked ass. You look at Deep Impact. That happened. Armageddon. That was the VHS. But here we are now trying to do a remake, and you go, you can't do a remake. You cannot say, oh, we're going to just start over and like do the same story in our time now. No, that happened. It's happening again. And I think the worst thing about it's happening again was I Know What You Did Last Summer had one of the most beautiful women ever in the history of life, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Jennifer Love Hewitt. And the only thing that we think about is, why aren't they talking? Why aren't they talking? Is it because of Freddie Prinze Jr.? They both liked Freddie Prinze Jr., or maybe they're both want to be with Freddie, or maybe one has a better career, or what does, or but you go, why aren't we talking? Why aren't we friends? And you look at that and you're like, that's the only thing you care about with I Know What You Did Last Summer. You look at the characters that were in it, they were cool. I remember there was a scene where the guy was like, oh, I could have sex with the girl, and he doesn't have sex with her, and he's dead. Think about that. You're Chase Sue Wonders. You're one of the most beautiful things in the world. You're Madison Clyde. You're one of the most beautiful things in the world. And you go, there you go. The killer of I Know What You Did Last Summer, I won't spoil it, but the killer, the new one, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like that the killer is this person. And even when it is the killer, like, okay, I accept that it was the killer, but I go, why are we doing this? Why did I see this movie? I go, what is the point of this? I don't like it. And you go, oh, it's not that you're supposed to like it. I go, yes, I am supposed to like it. If you make 11 eat a baby, I go, why'd she eat the baby? That's my question. Why'd she eat the baby? What happened? I'm not going, oh, kill 11. She ate a baby. If right now Vecna slashes 11 and she becomes a Vecna and some girl has a baby, it's Jennifer Love Hewitt or it's Winona Ryder, and they have a baby in their hand, and she just grabs the baby and goes and rips its head off. You go, that sucks, man. That sucks, man. She had to kill a baby. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking, oh, she's the most evil creature in the world. Kill her. I'm not thinking, oh my God, that I look at it like oh, that sucks. That's kind of like when you watch a TV show, or when you watch the news and they're like, oh, two kids were playing in the sand and they died. Everybody tried to save them, but they died. You go, oh, that sucks. Doesn't mean I'm not going to go to the beach. Doesn't mean I'm not. But you go, oh, you're like, it's a cautionary tale. And it's the same thing with Alec Baldwin, where you look at Alec Baldwin and you go, yeah, he killed her, but she was beautiful. I would much rather have it that they were sleeping together and she divorces her husband than her getting shot. If I had to choose between she got shot and she died, or she's just sleeping with Alec Baldwin and his wife hates it and her husband hates it and they divorce. But you go, man, she was so beautiful as cinematographer. She was such a beautiful girl. And you go, oh, it sucks she died. But Alec Baldwin is so handsome, and his stories are so good, and he's such a great storyteller. And I've invested so much time in Alec Baldwin. You have the love and likeness. You have the love and likeness. Kevin Spacey has why is he gay? And why is he such an asshole? I love Kevin Spacey. He's one of the most talented, genius actors in the history of life. But you go, dude, you can't do that. You cannot be gay and try to fuck men and try to be fucking Guy Pearce and try to be like, I understand you have you're evil. You've played evil guys. You play the guy who goes there, but you go, like, even me, like, for example, like, let's say right now I'm 58 years old. I'm not. I'm 39. But let's say I was 58, and I played serial killers or something, and they put me on the show as a serial killer. Well, I would go up to Millie Bobby Brown in the scene and say, you know, it'd be great if in the scene I try to eat your pussy or something. She'd look at me with the age she is now and say, you are so fucking weird and gross and ugh. And I say, okay, well, let's do that. And suddenly she'd, just by saying that, oh, I hear you, I understand you. I go, let's try that. Let's try. Like, we can't say that I want to eat your pussy or that I want to fuck you. And then I'd go, you know what's interesting? Why don't we get a guy who's very handsome, a sexy stud, and he's the guy trying to fuck you, and I'm always trying to corrupt him, and I'm evil, and then let's find me, and if I was gay, which I'm not, if I was Kevin Spacey, I'd say, but let's find me a gay guy, or and then she'd go, you know what? Respect. Word. That's why I like you. You understand. You know, and you would say we got to put that in the show somehow. We got like Zendaya, and you'd understand that. And I go okay, and then, and you kind of go to that rip off the band-aid of like, okay, well here I am with Zendaya, and I go, well Zendaya, for whatever reason you're black, and I don't hate that, but you kind of come off as a dork. You're very adorable. You're like an adorable dorky young girl, but you're very beautiful. You are very beautiful. There's something sexy coming out. Like you're not Halle Berry owning it yet. You seem like you're growing up still. You're still growing. You haven't reached that. I'm Leonardo DiCaprio, and I am one battle after another. I'm Leonardo DiCaprio, and I'm this boy's life. You're this boy's life. You're trying to play The Departed, but you're not there. So like Zendaya's beautiful. She's a beautiful girl. And I go, and you know what? I like that you're dating Tom Holland. He's cute. You have a cute relationship. But you go, and you're always like, it's so interesting how you're always looking at it that way, where you're like, wow, like, with Timothy Chalamet, that's a different thing. And I look at it like this. It's kind of like the chemistry read. It's like putting bottles where you go, well, Timothy Chalamet has a beautiful sister. She looks like Kristen Stewart. Kristen, I forget. Kristen Stewart, Twilight. She's beautiful. She looks sexy as fuck in The Sex Lives of College Girls. I think she looked good when she was chunky. Her breasts look good. She's sexy. So you go, well, I'm loving Timothy Chalamet's sister. Let's find a way to get that going. And then you go, ooh, I don't know about this. We got Timothy Chalamet trying to have a relationship with Zendaya. And you're like, ooh, Tom Holland wants him dead. And you go, ooh, I don't know. I kind of ship Tom Holland because he's just there's just such an emotion. And you go, Timothy Chalamet is kind of the guy who's like, oh, Zendaya would never love me because Tom Holland's so good and I'm so bad. And you're like, okay, now I like him. Now he's cute because he's a cutie because he's like, oh, I'm so bad and I'm the Damon, and you kind of, and Zendaya's kind of like, oh my god, how do I give myself over as a young girl? And then you're like, and then suddenly Millie Bobby Brown comes in and is like, well, fuck you, I'll be with Timothy Chalamet, so that's the power of storytelling. And if I was the Kevin Spacey going, okay, I'm trying to have sex with Agnes from Wednesday, or I'm trying to have sex with Enid, I go, well, I don't have the look. I have the Kevin Spacey. And I would understand, me personally, because I'm just a human being who understands, like, yes, I find this Asian girl that had a sexual harassment case sexy, and Morticia, and everyone would be like, okay, dude, but like, we're going to check you on the check. We're going to check you on this check. You're being Mr. Pink going, nah, I don't tip. I don't believe in it. And someone's like, hey, asshole, I paid for your meal. Put in $1. These women bust their ass. This is a hard job. Okay. And you're like, so that's the greatness of storytelling, is like, but I don't understand why, like, we're not tipping automatically. Like, you can't just be like, I'm tipping automatically. I'm tipping. Here's money. And he's like, hey, bro, tipping is what they love. Learn. They love to get tipped. And you go, oh, but if the girls, like, because like, what's special? Take you in the back and suck your dick. Like that. So that's what makes a movie, is you hate Mr. Pink's character for saying, oh, I don't believe in tipping, but it's such a great fucking entertainment. And I feel like everything I just said was exactly based on what I think. I know that this is a horrible looking glam and everything sucks, but basically what you look at it is, you look at it and you go, you know what? There's something sexy about me, but the problem with the sexiness is it comes off as like you're trying to just immediately go to have it. And you can't have it because there is the ugliness and the non-cuteness of you. Whereas other guys The girls are like, I want it, and the guys are like, I'm scared because if I lose you, I can't deal with that. And that's how a weird person feels. They go, well, if I lose you, I can't deal with that, so I'm going to be trying to lose you as I have you. Or as they said in Elizabethtown, you're always trying to break up with me, and we're not even together. So whatever. But you look at it like Katy Perry. Katy Perry's sexy. Everybody's wanted Katy Perry. She's gorgeous. But then she got Orlando Bloom, and you're like, oh, how cool is that? She's with Orlando Bloom. And then they broke up, and you're like, oh. And we all do that. We all kind of go, oh, the relationship, the relationship, the relate. And when you get in your own relationships, you don't listen to other people. So a perfect example is like Kevin Spacey. If somebody right now said, okay, we're going to do a movie, and I feel like if you're Ryan Murphy or whoever you are, you go, well, I feel we're going to put you and Kevin Spacey together and you're both going to be gay. I would go, let me think about that. And I'd say, well, here's the problem. I'd look at him and I'd say, dude, here's the thing. Like, I'm not trying to lose. This is the funniest thing I ever watched. I'm not trying to lose Wednesday and my 16-year-old pussy to be with you. you're like, I'm not. It's like, that's a 16-year-old Agnes. She looks great. You're a nice guy, and you go, oh, but I can be with a 15-year-old Anthony Rapp, and it's like, and I go, dude, the thing is, like, you're a very handsome guy, Kevin Spacey. You have a lot going for you, but you're not allowed to rape. You're not allowed to not acknowledge that, like, look at Morticia. She's fucking sexy. How sexy is Morticia? She's fucking hot. Look how good Catherine Zeta-Jones looks. And then here comes the evil. You go, ooh, this is where the Kevin Spacey comes in to go, I'm about to say something right now about someone. And you go, that's going to make that person cry. That's going to make that person cry. And it starts to make me cry. Because you go, I don't know why I'm saying, is this the devil? Is this, and you start to realize, like, it is like that there's something insecure about you, and you fucked it up on other people. And I've been there, man, where I once made fun of this little girl for her teeth, and she cried, and I said, no, what kind of a monster am I? So, and that's just the worst thing ever. And that's what I loved about One Tree Hill. That's what I loved about One Tree Hill. Is that in One Tree Hill, yes, Chad Michael Murray and the girl fucked and blah blah, Sophia Bush, whatever. But I remember when she was like being a bitch and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. It was because and you're going through it. So I feel like I'm that character who was like, oh, I went through it. I went to that ugly girl. I went to that old woman. I said those terrible things. And God, the reason that it's so terrible is because it hits, because it's true. It's kind of like Steve Martin in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where he didn't say you're a fat fuck and your stories are boring. Nobody wants to fucking talk to you, dude. You're not interesting. You're fat as fuck. You're annoying. I don't like you. If I don't want to have a fucking conversation with you, dude, shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. I've been through so many seminars. You're one of the most boring. Like, I can go to seminars now and be like, damn, thank God this isn't that boring because I saw you. You're so stupid, dude. I don't like you. You keep trying to find a way into my life. Like, you think you're being nice because you're not being nice. You have nobody else to be with. I bet you don't have anybody. And he'll say, you're right. This is Thanksgiving, and I'm very alone on holidays. And my wife died 8 years ago. And I like me. My wife liked me. My people liked me. I'm not going to change who I am. That's John Candy. And like, that's where I go, fuck, man, what is wrong with me? And that's what I would say in the scene. Dude, you know what, man? I'm sorry, bro. You didn't deserve that. And not because your wife is dead. I mean, yeah, maybe because, but, you know, I never had a wife. At least you got married, bro, and you had a life. And you'll get married again, bro. You know, see, that's what you need, bro. That is a good thing. That is a good thing that you have. You see a woman, you know, you see her in the street, you take her cab, you go through a whole thing. That's romance, you know? And I guess it just feels like we're doing a gay thing. I'm homophobic. And I don't know, man. You're cool, man. You're cool. Thanks for being a friend, bro. I'm sorry your wife died. And, you know, just, you know, I guess I've just been feeling lonely. And it sucks that we got to be two lonely guys. Let's go to a strip club. Would your wife feel terrible about us going to a strip club? And then they go, and every Thanksgiving we'll get whores, we'll fuck, we'll be men, you know, and there you go. So it's been an hour. Thank you, Millie Bobby Brown, for being sexy. Thank you, Catherine. Thanks to the sexy women. And I want to say one more thing. And I truly mean this. I was watching the Kardashians. I don't know if they were somehow mentioning me at the end of that episode about seeing a video or something, but they weren't. I'm just ego. But I'm going to say this, and I truly mean this. Kim Kardashian, you laugh a lot in scenes. This is a really terrible thing. I already feel like crying. You laugh a lot in scenes. You and that girl, she's beautiful. The both of you are beautiful. Two of the most beautiful women in the world. Sexy. You laugh a lot in scenes. That's cool. That's really cool. You got Glenn Close. You got Naomi Watts, who dated Heath Ledger. Incredible that they're not even talking about that. Or that somebody killed him. But you got Naomi Watts. You got, is her name Niecy Nash? Nessie, the Nash? I don't know, because I haven't seen a lot of you in the culture. I've experienced you, but I haven't seen the name going. But you got the Niecy Nash. You got Glenn Close. You're on a show. The number one problem with you laughing is that you go, oh, whatever. You go, whatever. You laughed. You know, I'm not method. I laughed. We're having fun. I got to spend all day here. Let me laugh. Okay. But there's a point when you have to establish that, and I truly mean this. I truly mean this as a good thing. I'm not trying to dilute your happiness, but if you're going to be an actress, I really mean this. If you're going to be an actress, and everybody's going to give you roles where it's like, well, she's Kim Kardashian, so we wrote the role for her, or we acknowledge that you don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. You're like, I love it. It's acting. I get to be famous. I get to, you know, all that shit. But what we all look at is where we're like, dude, I've acted in like X, Y, Z, B, E, R. Naomi Watts was in fucking Mulholland Drive. Glenn Close was in Fatal Attraction. Niecy Nash was in, what was she in? I don't remember. I think she was on a show that was the Rookie spinoff or something. I don't remember. She's still trying to get that Oscar. This is the show where she gets her Emmy. And this is the show where you get to be on a show. So the thing that pisses me off about Kim Kardashian in that okay, we're just laughing, fine. I get it. We're doing it. I'm not, give it the pass now. But the thing that gets me the most angry about shit, like when that happens, is that you go, this is not a laughing matter. If there's a guy and it's Tom Cruise and you're constantly smitten with how sexy and happy you are, you laugh. You laugh. You laugh because you're flirting. You laugh because you're happy. You don't laugh because you're nervous. You have to take it serious. If you're going to be an actress and and you're not going to go, well, I'm just playing the thing that I know to play. If you're going to really make it, and I'm going to tell you this, really mean this, you need to watch a lot of acting. You need to be doing what Tom Cruise does, where he goes, I watch a movie once every day. Once every day I'm watching a movie. I saw Brian De Palma. What a great director. He's got to direct Mission Impossible. He didn't say, dude, I'm just going to keep working with Steven Spielberg. He didn't say, oh no, I just work with Steven Spielberg. Yeah, I'm Tom Cruise. You know, he's not Jason Mewes. He's not Jason Mewes going, oh yeah, Kevin Smith is the guy who hires me, so I'm Jason Mewes. And I can tell you right now, Jason Mewes, I know it's another piece of shit. Here we go. Another fart. Okay. But Jason Mewes is the kind of guy who would say, you know what? I could fuck Kim Kardashian and I'm going to be in a Jay and Silent Bob, and she would laugh. Fine, they came together. That's where the laugh is. You got Jason Mewes. You got Kevin Smith. You got Kim Kardashian. It's a Kevin Smith movie. You're laughing good. But when somebody says, okay, I'm on Damages. I'm Rose Byrne. I'm Rose Byrne. I'm Rose Byrne. I'm Rose MacGyver. I'm on Ghosts. We're laughing in those areas. But you go, here I am, I'm Rose Byrne. Every fucking role I have ever fucking done has been not, I'm sex. I'm the girl. I have sex. I'm the girl. I have sex. I'm the girl. I have sex. It's like, no. You look at the role and you're like, wow, like one of the most beautiful women in the entire world. Acting. She's playing sad. She's playing funny. She's like Naomi Watts. Naomi Watts played Diana. And there's no even like moment where Kim is like, I'm so sorry, Naomi, because like I love Mulholland Drive. I really want to do good. I'm just nervous. Let's laugh. Let's have fun. Be like a Heath, where he's like, okay, that was one for like serious. Let's have fun. But you love that because you're like, wow, this guy's so alive. He's so to be here. And I feel I'm gonna watch All's Fair. It's gonna come out, and I'm gonna judge it. And it'll probably be a hit show. It'll probably go on. But this is what, like, I look at it like this, where Kim Kardashian was pretending to be a lawyer. And you go, wow, all this time she was like, damn, bro, I want to be a lawyer. 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 And what she's really thinking is, how in the hell am I not going to be a lawyer? I'm Kim Kardashian. You're going to have every lawyer in the fucking world, and no one's going to care. That lawyer, this lawyer, that. Who cares? Me, I got Donald Trump. I got Barack Obama. I got Michelle Obama. I got the contacts. I'm famous. I'm beautiful. And that's what she's playing. That's the character she's playing. The one that's like, the woman goes, yeah, but you're not a good lawyer. You're just a pretty face. And it's like, well, okay, I'll try to learn. I'll try to learn the terminology. It's not that, it's hard. But I mean, fuck it. Like, it's a Legally Blonde, where you're like, okay, fuck it. Like, fuck you. Okay, so I don't know that it's relevant. I don't know that it was relevant. I didn't know, like, and you go, oh, man, like, that's the story we want to see. That's the story we want to see, which is, here's this knockout, beautiful girl who is a Christina Hendricks, big breasts, beautiful girl, being in a world of men, that will finally get the power to decide, hey, bro, I need to live around my wife and she wants a restraining order. Okay, I'm going to get you, or I'm going to, whatever. It's such a real stake world when you're like, dude, like, you're Scott Disick. You're going to court now. It's a Diddy thing. You're on a racketeering charge. Kim Kardashian is your lawyer. What does she tell you to do? And she's trying to honor her father and go, my dad is the only reason O.J. Simpson is not dead. The only reason O.J. and his kids got to see O.J. is because her dad was like, even if you did kill her, or if you didn't, that's not what's important now. We got to go to court. And everybody went to court. Everybody got behind O.J. And we never, and you go, oh, was it Chloe's dad? Was it? And you're like, but who cares? The point of it was her dad was a lawyer. She's like, my dad was a lawyer. And for whatever reason, you're like, you know what? I have to be me, my lawyer. I have to be me. So if I'm going to use sex, I use sex. If I'm stupid and I cry, I cry. But you go, there's got to be a love. There's going to be a love. There's going to be a Stephen Amell. There's going to be a Matthew Fox, a Scott Wolf. Get some black guys in there. Get some Asian guys. There's going to be these love people that is like, oh, what's so funny? We did that scene, and I really fell in love with you. I was Buffy, and you were Angel, and I fell in love with you, and we're good friends, and I had such fun, and I laughed. And a lot of people, I'm amazed people aren't saying, let's ship Sarah Paulson and Kim Kardashian as a couple. And you go, okay, you could do that. That's interesting. But you look at it and you're like, okay, fine. If they were gay, fine. She's a Santana and she's her Heather. But you look at it and you're like, what's interesting? What's really interesting about the LGBTQ is you go, that's what the story's all about. That's what the story's all about. From Stranger Things to All's Fair. And I've been such an asshole and farting and stupid and weird and annoying. But as we come to the end, which is a big upload, I tried to do this as live. Remember, guys, Mariah Carey's still sexy. Jennifer Lopez still sexy. You gotta get J-Lo finally ready. And have a little more respect, be a little more method, less method, sometimes method, not method, more method, not method, go. But get that Tom Cruise and put in your hours and kick ass. Because it's time away from your kids. It's time away. So I acknowledge that this should be fun. So let's do fun. But let's be real here. Because we're going to win some fucking Emmys. That's all.